Now we're going to look at how does Cypress work. So if we access the following URL, and if we scroll down, you'll be presented with an image that breaks down a brief architecture of how exactly does Cypress work. So for example, before even using Cypress, you would need to download all the relevant packages for you to set up your automation framework. So as you can see, on the left-hand side, you have an image showing you before Cypress. So for example, prior to Cypress, if you needed a way to construct the templates for your tests, you would need to manually download either Mocha and Jasmine. You'd also need to add an assertion library such as Chai. You'd need to install Selenium. And you can also add wrapper libraries, etc. But what Cypress does is Cypress wraps all the packages inside its architecture and does the hard work for you. So for example, if you download and install Cypress, it's very rarely that you'll need to manually download external libraries or packages, even though you can if you want to. But the whole idea of Cypress is to combine everything in one to make your life easy. Now, via the same page, if we scroll down, we're going to see 7 ways Cypress is different. So you can see at the first point is Cypress does not use Selenium. So most end-to-end testing tools are Selenium-based. But if you look at Cypress, Cypress is different. They've built a new architecture from the ground up. Whereas Selenium executes remote commands through the network, Cypress runs in the same loop as the application. If we look at a second point, Cypress focuses on doing end-to-end testing really well. So Cypress is not a general automation framework, nor is it a unit testing framework for your back-end services. There are already great tools out there that do that. Rather, we specialize in one thing, and that is creating a great experience whilst you write your end-to-end tests for your application. So as previously mentioned, Cypress has its own commands, which makes it really easy for you to quickly construct automation tests. If we look at this third point, so Cypress works on any front-end framework or website. So Cypress tests anything that runs in a web browser. So all of the architecture surrounding Cypress is built to handle modern JavaScript frameworks, especially well. We have hundreds of projects using the latest React, Angular, etc. So Cypress also works equally well on older server rendering pages or applications. So the key thing to take note is that Cypress is built on Node.js and like JavaScript. And if you look at most websites use JavaScript. So it's great that Cypress uses the same language that is used to construct nearly every website. If we scroll further down, so Cypress tests are only written in JavaScript. So while you can compile down to JavaScript from any other language, ultimately the test code is executed inside the browser itself. So here's another key point. Cypress executes inside the browser. If you look at other technologies such as Selenium interacts with the browser from outside the browser. For example, you'd use Chrome driver, and then Chrome driver would then communicate with the browser. So the architecture of Cypress is very different. So Cypress is all in one. As we previously mentioned, Cypress tries to simplify the process of downloading the relevant dependencies, so it does the hard work for you. So you can literally run a few commands and Cypress has already downloaded most of the packages that you would need to construct your framework. Cypress is for developers and QA engineers. So one of our goals was to make test-driven development a reality for end-to-end testing. So Cypress is at its best when you use it to build your application. We give you the power to code as fast as possible. So important note to take here as well is that if you look at many companies, Cypress is also very popular with developers because it's very easy, for example, if a team of developers are building a website in React, because Cypress is built on Node.js and JavaScript, it's very easy for them to grasp Cypress and at the same time create their own tests at the same time they're developing new features. So not only is it really effective for QA engineers, it's also effective for developers. And finally, if you look at the last point, Cypress runs much, much faster. So these architectural improvements unlock the ability to do TDD with full end-to-end tests for the very first time. So Cypress has been built so that testing and development can happen simultaneously. So you can develop faster whilst driving the entire dev process with tests because you can see your application. So in this example, as I previously mentioned, Cypress is very popular with developers because let's say I'm developing a new system. I'm going to need to obviously code as the functionality expands and grows. But at the same time, when I'm developing my functionality, if I'm a developer, it's a key factor you need to consider is constructing tests because the mindset should be you develop your code, but at the same time, you add the testing measures in place to ensure that your code doesn't break or the system that you're developing doesn't break. So Cypress is really easy also for developers, not only to work on the system or application that they're developing, at the same time, they can integrate Cypress within the application or system they're working on so they can develop and create tests at the same time.